Okay, so when you're using the Sony Z5 video camera, you have the ability to attach an external microphone. So you can get one out from the Media Loan Shop, a rifle mic, or you can use this XLR microphone that comes with the camera if you wish, but one from the loan shop would be much better sound quality. Okay, so it connects to the camera via an XLR cable, via a 3-pin XLR cable, okay, which can connect into input 1 here. You can put 2 microphones into this camera, so if you have a second microphone, you would just plug that into input 2, which is here. Okay, so if you're interviewing 2 people, perhaps you may want to have them both on their own tie mics. Okay, so what you then do is on the side of the camera here, you've got a little plastic flip. You can just flip this down, okay, and you've got some switches that you would need to set. Okay, so for the top 2 switches is for channel 1, which is your left channel, and for the bottom 2 switches, it's for channel 2, which is your right channel. Okay, so the first switch to the left-hand side gives you the option of either using the internal microphone, which can be found at the front of the camera above the lens, which is here. This microphone is not particularly good, so I would recommend not using that one. Okay, or you can move this switch down to where it says input 1. Okay, so that means that channel 1, anything coming into your left channel is going to come through from input 1, which was on this side of the camera underneath where the microphone is. Okay, you then have a switch just to the right of this switch, which is for your audio level control. You can either set that to auto, which the camera will automatically control your levels for you, which means when something gets really loud, it may take a second or 2 for it to make it quieter, or something that's really quiet may take a second or 2 to make it louder. If you're in a quiet environment, it may also try and boost that sound, so you may end up with quite a lot of loud background sound. Okay? So what I recommend that you do is that you record your audio in manual mode. Okay? You then have this little dial to the right-hand side of the switch where you can turn your audio levels up and down. If you have a look on your screen, you will see that you've got level controls at the bottom here that go up and down. Okay, so at the moment I've turned my audio levels all the way down, which means I'm getting no signal input on channel 1 at all whatsoever. Okay. Okay, so just below that we've then got the switch for our channel 2, which is our right channel. And on this switch to the left-hand side, we actually now have 3 options. So our first option is for it to come from this internal microphone. Okay. Our second option, if we flick that down, is for it to come from input 1. So it means that whatever signal is going into input 1 will be split between channels 1 and channels 2. So it will go both to our left and to our right channels. That's if we've got 1 microphone. If, however, we have 2 microphones plugged in and whatever is going into input 2 we want to come through onto our right channel, we can flick that switch down to where it says input 2. At the moment I have no microphone plugged in, so I've now got no levels coming through on that at all, regardless of me turning this up or down. So for the purpose of this demonstration, we are using 1 microphone. So this switch I'm going to flick to input 1, which means my input 1 signal is being split to left and to right. Okay, again I have my switch that says auto or manual. This needs to be in manual mode, and again I can turn this dial down. So what I need to do is to make sure that my audio levels are at a correct level. So what I need to do is press this button at the back of the camera that says status check. If I press this button, on my screen I will see my audio levels in clearer detail. So at the moment I need to have my levels as I'm talking into the microphone. The levels need to be around about where it says 20 to get a correct signal. Anything above that will start to distort, anything below that will be slightly too quiet. So I'm going to turn the dials on the side of the camera until I get a correct sound level. Okay, so you may get your subject to say 1 2 1 2, or to speak through the alphabet, or to read the first line of their script or something, just so that you can get a sound check. Okay. If after you've done this you're still getting no levels coming through, it may be because you're using the wrong input type on the camera. So just behind where the microphone sits, you've got another plastic lid here, which you can lift up. We have a switch for input 1 and a switch for input 2. For each switch, we have 3 options. It can either be a line level input, which generally would be something from, say, a sound desk or something. So you're taking a direct feed from a sound desk. Your next option down is where it says mic, and your third option down is where it says mic plus 48V. Plus 48V stands for phantom power. Most microphones require some form of power that you'll be using with this camera. This microphone, for example, you can't put a battery in, so it will take power from the camera. In order for it to do that, we need to have this switch set to mic plus 48V. If you're using a microphone from the Media Loan Shop, you have the ability to put AA batteries into those, in which case, if you've got batteries in your microphone, that switch will just need to be set to mic. Okay? Bear in mind, when you're using phantom power, it will take more battery power, so your battery may drain slightly quicker than what it would without using 48V. Okay, and the same would be for input 2, so depending on what you're putting in, whether it's a line level input, whether it's a microphone that doesn't require power, or a microphone that does require power. Okay, as we're only using one, I only need to change this for input 1. Okay, so looking at our screen now, it's telling me that input 1 is going to channel 1 and to channel 2. If I had 2 microphones in there, it would say input 1, input 2, and it would say channel 1 and channel 2. Okay, it's telling me that I'm using 48 phantom power, and it's a microphone, and I've got noise reduction on, which I can change in the menu. Okay, to come out of status check, so to come out of that mode, I can just press this button again, and it will take me back to my main screen. At the bottom right-hand corner, I can still see my audio levels, and I have a rough idea of where those levels need to be at. So when you're using audio on the Z5 cameras, you will need to have a set of headphones so that you can hear what you're doing. Okay, so these headphones will plug in to the back of the camera here, so just where the battery sits. Here, we'll flip that open, and the headphones will just sit in there, and then you'll be able to hear exactly what's being said. Okay, if you can't hear, on the top of the camera where the LCD screen would normally sit when it's closed, there is a volume button that you can turn up or turn down if it's too loud or too quiet.